Hi everyone, Matthew Donovan here. Just a quick video to wrap up the 2018 resolutions of mine. A couple days behind schedule here, but that's just because I was traveling back to Waterloo and getting started with the new term. So, as always, first thing on the list is languages, and December was a really good month. I was focusing on Serbian, so I'll be off to Serbia in April of this year for a business competition. So, as I said, I was working on Serbian, but it was a little bit of a combination. I have a Pimsleur course for Croatian and Serbian quite similar. They're written in different scripts, but the same words are used for the most part, and for the most part they're very interchangeable. So I had a very good month in December, worked through I think 8 out of 10 of the Pimsleur courses. That's very good progress there. As well, I went online. It's tough to find content and good content, so I actually commissioned someone to translate a bunch of beginner stories that I have, and the same stories that I've used for Spanish and German and Hebrew and all these other languages. Commissioned someone to translate them into Serbian and also to record them. And one of the main things of this one is just to get the audio and the words and that type of thing, and it's something I can listen to on my phone. But the other thing with Serbian is it's written in the Cyrillic script, so it's not written in the Latin alphabet. And that's something else that I worked on during the last week or so of December. Once I was at home, was really working on reading that Cyrillic script, the Azbuka as they call it. And I'm still not perfect. There are still some letters that always trip me up when I see them, but for the most part I'm becoming much more confident when I see these words to figure out how are they pronounced, what does that mean. And I don't know the long-term implications of this. I think it's going to be interesting because Serbian I guess can be written in both English or both the Latin alphabet and the Cyrillic alphabet, and in Serbia the words are written interchangeably. Sometimes street signs, for example, they may be written in the Cyrillic script, but sometimes they may be written in the Latin script. So I don't know yet how my learning will translate to, okay, am I learning words spelt a certain way, or am I learning them in the Cyrillic script? And then it's going to take a little bit more time to have that association of, okay, if I see the word written in the different script, will I still be able to pick it up? And that's something I don't know yet. But as I said, the one benefit, or one of the many benefits of this, was I actually had the person who I commissioned translate the stories, but then write them in both the Latin alphabet as well as the Cyrillic Azbuka. So I can use those, and I haven't quite started yet with those mini stories, but I did have them translated. I have an app that I have on my phone just with a bunch of words, really random words, but I was using that to focus on, they have audio as well as the Cyrillic script, so I was using that to associate with the Cyrillic script. And then I've also downloaded Anki, which is a flashcard spaced repetition tool that I haven't been using very much, but I'm hoping to start using really just to gain the vocabulary and really get started in the new year even more into Serbian. But I had very good progress. I think I'm very proud of the progress during December, just as a beginning ramp up into Serbian. The second thing on the list was reading, and during the month of December I actually had relatively good progress. So I read 2 books during December. I read The 12-Week Year, and I read Thinking in Bets is the full title, Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke. So both of those books, as I said, I quite enjoyed. The Annie Duke book was some good new content, but also a lot similar to the content that she's spoken about at Google and at other talks that she's given. I've watched these on YouTube, so some quite familiar, a little bit of new content, but just overall I quite like that concept behind the book. And the 12-Week Year I think was very applicable, especially because I was reading it in December, and one of the main things that the 12-Week Year talks about is we always have these bursts of productivity right at the end, right? If you have a year-long goal, you have these productivity bursts right before the year ends. Or if it's your birthday and you want to get something done, you might have this burst right before your birthday, or things like that. So really it was focusing on shortening the time frame, being much more actionable, and really being much more committed. And that's something I'm wanting to try in 2019, is splitting the year up into 3 different sections that'll correspond to the semesters that I'm on right now. In school, I'll probably change this up and maybe go back to a 12-week year like the book talks about once I've graduated and things like that. But right now it makes a lot of sense to stick with 16 weeks every semester, every 4 months. Things change, my classes, my involvement, co-op, academics, all of this, so it makes sense to do things in 16-week chunks, and that's what I'm going to be doing in 2019. But as I said, I had good progress right at the end of December. I wasn't able to get to that 6-book goal that I had, but still 2 books of physical sitting down reading books, I think is very good. I am still reading. I read a lot online and listen to a lot and consume a lot of content. Something to think about going forward is maybe listening to audiobooks, but it all comes down to what do I want to do. I think I actually will shy away from audiobooks because in my mind audiobooks are similar to podcasts. You just put them on when you're driving or walking around or doing whatever. You have downtime, maybe doing laundry or vacuuming, things like that. But that's not the point. I think part of the point and part of the value in reading physical books is you have to sit down. You have to be focused just on the reading. And it's not something you can do as a distraction or as a second task when there's something else going on. And so I think for that reason it makes a lot of sense to keep sticking with just reading physical books, because you get into the zone, you're sitting there, you're reading the book, it's just you and the book, and I think there's something special about that. And I haven't been doing that as much, and I do miss it. When I sat down to read both of these 2 books, I did quite enjoy it. So we're really trying to integrate that this upcoming year as well, but I'm not putting it on the list of resolutions to get done. There are other things I want to focus on, but who knows, maybe I'll have an afternoon one day that's free and I'll sit down and read a book. Co-op, I decided during the month of December, my goal for the upcoming co-op term likely is going to be to go back to Sun Life if they're willing to have me, and if we can get that to work out, I'll be able to stay close to Waterloo, take a couple of courses online. There's one computer science course in particular that's only offered in the summer, so this way I'll be able to take it. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to do that. It's interesting to me and I'd like to do it in order to complete the computer science minor as well. I get to, as I say, stay close to Waterloo, potentially step up over the summer and do a little bit more for Business 111 in preparation for being the head TA in the fall. And all around, once I graduate, which is coming up quickly, only 16 months from now, Sun Life has a very good rotational program that I'm very strongly considering applying to or seeing where things go with that. So going back to Sun Life for another 4 months, they know me. I've worked there already. I've still been working a little bit part-time. So hopefully I can get work that's interesting to me, applicable to what I want to do, but still very valuable to Sun Life, and at the same time keeps me close, as I said, for a potential going back after graduation, whether or not it's for that rotational program or something else. So that's my current thought, is really spending this last co-op term, staying in Waterloo, taking some classes, going back to Sun Life, and just doing that. So that's the thought on co-op and involvement. So December, there wasn't a ton going on there just because of exams and then the Christmas break. Everything pretty well had wrapped up. But one thing in particular sort of came about right as December was coming to a close, and that's regarding the emergency response team. We want to put a website together. That's something I've been trying to push for a couple years now, actually, and it looks like finally we'll have some go-ahead. So I got the news at the end of December. We're good to go ahead with that. So that's something I'll be working on in the new year, really trying to get that done. But other than that, those are the 5 resolutions. I'm pretty happy with how December went. Maybe not the year overall, but I think December was a very strong finish. And I don't think that is a surprise. It's exactly what the 12-week year talks about. And I think most people, if you were to sit down and say, look, I'm going to measure you on these goals and then hold yourself accountable, the end of the year just has something to it that causes you to be a little bit more passionate or willing to take action. So as I said, I think that's December. I may record some quick videos, maybe 5 videos, just how the year went for each goal. Maybe not, maybe just 1 video. I haven't decided yet, but that's December. I think it was a good wrap up to the year, and I'm looking forward to approaching I don't want to can't call it quarter one, but I guess the first semester of if you will, of 2019. I'm looking forward to that as well. So as always, thanks for listening, and bye for now.